I think we're live. On this live stream, I'm just gonna be reading some comments. I didn't schedule it with time or anything. I just had a chance today. So I want to talk about the channel. I mean, it's been 2 years on YouTube, and everything started with this Panasonic. I don't know why is the camera? It's just my face. I don't know why it's not 16 by 9. Well, that's fine. How's it going? Rimlab. Hi, Ariel. How are you doing? Rodrigo. So yeah, everything started with this Panasonic plasma TV, $25. Absolutely insane. I was blown away with that TV. And it was the reason why I opened this channel, 100%. I was not intending, I was not trying to, start a YouTube channel. Oh, what happened here? See what's going on. Did the image went blank for you? Hey Ariel, I'm gonna watch you through all your S95 videos soon. Looking very forward to it. Yeah, I'm just getting started. We're gonna break apart that TV. Hopefully we don't break it. So yeah, I mean, everything started with this Panasonic plasma TV. Absolutely amazing. I was like, people need to know. People need to know, because I had a 1440p IPS gaming monitor. It was not great, but it was 95 hertz and it supports VRR. So that's usually, the entry level, at least, back when I started. Now maybe, the entry level has increased. But that was trash in comparison with this plasma TV. Not even close. So I spent $25 and I'm blown away with the picture quality. And I see the used market, at least here in the US, full of plasma TVs. So cheap. People are just giving them away. And hey, how's it going, Nathan? Also, Farhan, how are you doing? So yeah, plasma TVs everywhere, super cheap, almost free. And I'm like, why are people, if you don't get the top display, why are people getting 1080p or 1440p LCD monitors that don't come even close to this? People need to know. I'm like, okay, I'm going to record a video. I was playing Red Dead Redemption. And the other thing, of course, 1080p, so you don't need a very powerful GPU, but at that point, I already have the 3080. But because I spent so much money on it, I was saving until to buy the OLED. So the OLED was always the target. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the GPU and I have to save a little bit more. So in the meantime, I don't want to be playing with this terrible, LCD monitor. And I did my research and I found out that plasmas were very good. A lot of people praising the technology. So I said, okay, I'm gonna get a cheap plasma, and then I see they are very cheap on the used market. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna get a temporary TV, get this $25 plasma TV. I'm blown away. And actually, I was so impressed, and I liked this TV so much that my first impressions with the LG C1 were terrible, absolutely terrible. Yes, perfect blacks. Yes, it has the BFI, and it is amazing. It was the reason why I bought the TV. But when it comes to colors, brightness, even, this Panasonic plasma TV is super bright. I was like, I am not getting these colors and this brightness on my $1,000 LG C1. There's something wrong here. This is not okay. So yeah, that then everything started there when I was not happy with it. So I had to figure out a way to make it work or return it. But I was clear. It has to be the settings. It has to be these games that are messed up. So I have to figure it out because this OLED TV has to be better than this 2011 plasma TV for sure. So yeah, that's how it all started. So for today, I have on this celebration, we have a meeting here of remote controls. We have the Panasonic Plasma, we have the Pioneer Kuro, we have the LG C1, and we have the Samsung S95C. So we are all celebrating together. Of course, the S95C is just getting started. We're gonna do a lot with it. Um, hey, how are you doing, Simon Hosha? Fantastic over achievement. I can't believe it was only been 2 years. You improved my C1 experience incredibly. Thank you so much. And I wish you continue channel success and happiness. All the best. Well, all the best to you, Simon. Thank you very much. Simon has some calibration equipment and he has helped me figure out some settings for the LG C1. So I'm glad I could share some useful information with you too. And thank you for being here. Yeah, I think it is, honestly, you have to be lucky on YouTube. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters too much how good your video is at the very beginning because you don't get any visibility at all. In my opinion, the first 1,000 subscribers is the most difficult one because I think you have to be lucky for YouTube to recommend your videos and someone to see them. Because I previously had a skating YouTube channel, and I think I was making very good videos there. Of course, it's not a big, super huge audience, but after many videos and a lot of effort, I had like 100 and something subscribers. I didn't even reach 200 subscribers. It's very difficult to grow a YouTube channel. I would say it's almost impossible. You have to be very lucky, and I think we've been very lucky here. How are you doing, Sarah? Hey, congrats on the success. Well, thank you very much. Fran says, yeah, I saw that comparison post you made at 2000 nits. No, you said you'd have to be blown away to keep it. I'm foreshadowing, but don't want to be spoiled yet. I mean, there's no way I am returning the S95C unless it breaks and it no longer works, because the thing is, the TV looks amazing. And I mean, I got it. It was so cheap. $760 for a 55-inch OLED, let alone the Samsung S95C. I think that's ridiculous. Actually, I was going to pass for Best Buy because it was on my way, and I felt bad. I was like, man, why would you go there again? Am I going to rob them? is the only thing remaining. Just go there with guns and just rob the TVs. I mean, that deal, it was just insane, absolutely crazy. And also, it was crazy that I bought it initially on clearance, the S95C, for $1139.99, which is a very good price. I was happy with it. But because I got the membership, they give you 60 days and they would price match. So if they lower the price, they will give you that deal. But I bought it on clearance, so I got it even cheaper. So it's just nuts. I'm so happy with it. So yeah, there's no way I'm gonna return the S95C unless it breaks. Actually, the reason why I did the 2000 nits hack or mod on the service menu was because so early was because, okay, if I mess it up, I can exchange it for a new one, and then I would be more conservative, because you don't have to necessarily get 2000 nits. You can get a little bit more. You can get your S95C to S95D levels, and that's great. You don't need to do more than that if you want. But then you can pass the S95D, which is absolutely crazy. You're basically getting an S95E. And that's so exciting to me. It's like, getting a GPU and overclocking it and getting a lot more performance. It's nuts. To go from 1300 nits, 12 to 1300 nits, up to 2000 nits peak brightness. And it's full screen, it's like 250. With the mod, you're getting 310 nits. That's huge. That's a huge difference. So yeah, we'll talk more about it during the stream, and I will make a video about it. I'm going to explain exactly everything, but I want to be, for this video, I want to be a little bit more careful, trying to explain better things. So I want to understand better what I did first. So I just don't repeat what I read somewhere or just share, where I got the information. I want to understand it a little bit better. And also, I want to try the TV with the mod to see if it breaks. Because if I have issues with it, I'm not going to recommend it. Of course, I'm not going to recommend it anyway. You do that at your own risk. But yeah, I want to try it a little bit more first to see if I have any issues. So I've been testing full screen colors to check if there's any pixel that's a stock on a color, like if it's broken or if I have any dead pixels or something like that, and I haven't seen any defects. I'm also going to make a video about the panel uniformity, which is not perfect. My S95C is not perfect. It has an issue with the uniformity, but it's not a big deal. I would not exchange the TV because of that. Not because I cannot, because I could, no problem, I can exchange the TV. But the thing is, I would feel bad because that's a very good TV. So if I exchange it, it's like, okay, opening a brand new TV, and so then someone else is gonna get this one. So why would I do that? It's like, it doesn't feel right to me. That's why I wouldn't exchange, even without a small defect. But it's not a big deal. I think it's still okay, and it might go away with use. That's another thing I believe. What's the lifespan in hours of a plasma TV on average? I think they say 100,000 hours. Like, I think they used to advertise the plasma TV live, which is great. It would be great if they do the same with OLEDs, to know really what is the life expectancy of OLEDs. We don't know that. At least I don't know. But plasmas used to advertise, okay, this plasma is better, it's gonna last longer. You have 200,000 hours or something like that. But it's a lot, man. It's a lot. But plasmas lose brightness with time, and the black floor gets raised with time. That's why this Pioneer Kuro I have here is so sought after, because the ninth generation Pioneer Kuros allow you to reset the black floor by tweaking the voltages, so you can get it almost to factory levels. So you can see what the best plasma looks like, almost like if it was brand new. But you still lose brightness with time. But it's a great technology, man. And for the prices you can get it today on the used market, it's a no-brainer. Even if you have an OLED, I would recommend you to hunt for a very good plasma. Definitely. Someone else can use it at home, or you can use it for gaming. Maybe you can use the plasma for ray tracing and just max out graphics or things like that. It's a great technology. You only need 60 FPS. That's great. Congrats, man. Thanks for your knowledge. Well, thank you very much, man. I don't know a lot, but I share what I'm learning, and I've made a lot of mistakes, a lot, but that's okay. I'm not an expert. I've never, tried to put myself as something that I'm not. I'm honest, and I tell you, hey, for example, if I'm gonna make a video right now about this service menu tweak, I'm just gonna tell you, hey, I got this from here. I know nothing about it. I just did it and it worked. So I'm not gonna come to you, you know, up trying to make it as if I understood exactly what's going on or why. I tell you exactly as it is, and I think that's the best. That's okay. It is okay not to be an expert. It's perfectly fine. Just sharing your experience, your opinion. I think that still has a value. Collaboration with Vincent next. um, yeah, Vincent. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would have anything to talk with Vincent Tio with from HDTV Test. Yeah, I would have some questions about. You see, right now, if I speak with Vincent, I would ask him, "Hey, what is ideal?" So let's say, what would be the ideal reference monitor behavior? Let's say something that's not even possible today. For example, one question that is interesting to me is for HDR, do you want, is it ideal to have the whites clipping and all the primary colors clipping at the exact same point? And if the answer is no, that's not possible, or technically possible, or no, you don't want that, then my question would be, well, why on SDR all the colors are clipping at the same point? So why you don't have that on HDR? So yeah. Actually, I asked FOMO if his Sony HX3110 is clipping all the colors at the same point, and he said no, they are clipping before. So that's interesting. So the colors are not clipping at the same target. That's interesting to me. I don't know why. I would like to understand that, if it's a limitation or if it's that exactly what they are looking for. What's up, GM Informatica? Congratulations. Well, thank you. How's it going, hosting? Hello, my friend Plasma. Happy for you. You're 10,000. Congratulations. Glad to be here from the beginning. Well, thank you very much. Nathan Green, how are you doing? I don't produce any YouTube content, and so far I have a bit over 2,000 views on my G4 unboxing. You know what? I saw your video, and I was gonna ask you if you are the same Nathan Green that has been here in the comments that we're trying to figure out if the G4 or if the MLA back when the G3 was released, you were trying to figure it out like me if MLA was raising the blacks, and then you searched the video and you send it to me. Are you the same person? Because from what I remember on your logo, it was different than the person I saw on the video. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not him. But yeah, congratulations, man. Just go for it. You got 2,000 views on your G4 unboxing. That's amazing. The type of content matters a lot. If posted one for me eating pasta, it would probably have 3 views. Yeah, the content matters. And of course, when you get a big G4, you got the 83 inches, I think, or 77, if I remember. Yeah, people are interested in that for sure. I mean, honestly, the channel has exploded since I got this Samsung S95C. I mean, it's unbelievable. Honestly, if I was able to get the same level of attention with any TV it would be profitable for me to just start buying TVs and just making content. But I'm not gonna do that, because what am I going to do with them? I don't like to return them, and I don't want them. I bought the Samsung S95C because I wanted to have it. So I don't feel it would be the same. It would have the same feeling. Um, but yeah, it has been amazing. So, and a lot of people asking me, hey, you should become a TV reviewer. Get the G4 and put it side by side and all of that. Um, that would be fun, but yeah, I have to still think about that. Have to earn the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, for sure. Hey, what's up, Hybrid? You just hit 10K and my video just hit 1 million. Very good week. Your video is like exploded, man. I'm so glad, because that video is so important. Uh, Talking about the blurriness we have with games today, I see the benefits of upscaling, temporal anti-aliasing. That's all well and good, but we are missing a lot, in my opinion, when it comes to image clarity. We are missing a lot. It's like going from CRTs to LCDs. Okay, yes, you can get a bigger screen size that's thinner, that it consumes less power, that's lighter, that's cheaper to manufacture. I understand all of that, but you're going from 60 FPS looking like 1000. Like, motion clarity was not even a problem at all. Input lag was not even a problem at all. Non-native resolutions, not a problem. You can use whatever you want. It looks sharp and awesome. We went from that to absolute trash LCD technology. And yes, if you look at the LCDs today with mini LED, with backlight, dimming and all of that, yes, they are very good, and yeah, you can argue they are better than a smaller CRT. But how long we've been suffering with terrible motion clarity and terrible contrast and input lag and black levels and all of that, and how long? I don't think it's good. So the same thing for me happens with gaming today. The way the games look, I don't think it is all game. There's too much compromises, in my opinion. That's the thing. That's how I feel about that. Yeah, I'm glad your video exploded. What's up, Gustavius Twinkleberry? Yo, Plasma. You going to oil up? When are you going to oil up? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I think I've heard that like a couple times, but I don't know really what that is. I think they told that to Dana White from the UFC, and I didn't understand what they were referring to. I'm still new to the internet and to the US, really, because I've been here like uh, a little bit over 5 years on the US, and I don't use any other social media. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Twitter or X or whatever. I don't use anything else other than YouTube. So I'm not very well informed with all those terms. Zero issue with the One Connect box so far. No blackouts. No blackouts so far. But honestly, I the times that I've been actually using the TV and playing, I am using Game Motion Plus, and that reduces the likelihood of getting blackouts. But I have to use it on PC mode, because if I get blackouts, then I have still time to return it. So I have to use it more. But yeah, so far I don't have any blackouts. But yeah, I have not been using it at 144 hertz. But I got an optical HDMI cable. Okay, day one. I didn't want to have any issues, so I'm using the longer cable for the One Connect box, and I'm using an optical cable. So yeah. Nathan Green says, think the Samsung S95e will have the matte finish. I hope it doesn't. That would be so bad, man. If they just decide, that's terrible. That just doesn't make any sense, man. Any sense. A flagship TV is it has to be designed to look the absolute best on the absolute best conditions. It's like you get a Ferrari that is compromised, so the suspension and the engine and everything is compromised, so you can also do a little bit of off-roading. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you design a TV? You affect the contrast, the vibrancy, the sharpness. Why would you affect that so it looks okay under lighting conditions? And it doesn't look okay. It looks completely washed out. It looks like an office, like a crappy office monitor. The Samsung S95D. It's a fantastic TV. I'm sure if you have it on a dark room, it's going to look amazing. But still, even on a dark room, the matte finish gives you like an oily look. I've seen close-up pictures of the subpixel structure, and it looks kind of blurry with the matte finish. I want to go to the store actually and do like a short zoom in to the S95D to see if my camera can pick that up. Terrible idea. So the S95E, I hope it comes with a glossy finish, or just give them the option, have a matte and a glossy, so that they will see which one sells more. Although most people maybe don't care or don't know about it, but I believe the gloss is gonna sell more for sure. Then they will realize that that was just a bad idea. How are you doing, Eric Thomas? Happy to be one of the OGs. Yeah, absolutely. I remember you from the very beginning. Thank you very much for being here, man, for your support. How's the tone mapping and HDR so far with the S95C compared to the C1 in HDIG? What's easier to tweak and get the best results? Well, let me tell you this, man. My impression of the S95C, the calibration of the TV when it comes to the HDR tone mapping is a complete mess. I mean, not a complete mess, but it's not good. The reason is near black, I'm crushing blacks. But let's say that's because it's a brand new panel. And the same thing was happening with the C1. It was crushing blacks. So it's too dark. It is crushing the very beginning, but it's super dark. Then after a certain percentage of the grayscale or stimulus, then it's too bright. It looks kind of washed out in the middle. It's not great, man. It doesn't look great. So then the TV calibrators, they recommend you to lower the ST2084 setting a little bit, but that was never convincing to me. Now, that's why I'm thinking like how I'm going to present this video with the 2000 nits mod, how I am going to present that, because I don't want anyone to feel like pressure. Oh, my TV sucks if I don't go to the service menu and completely, you know, set it to torch mode or something like that. I don't want anyone to feel, bad or like they are missing out or anything, because the TV looks amazing regardless. But I am used to the C1, okay, and it's not perfect either, I'm sure. But of course, I'm used to that. So in comparison, that's the difference that I was seeing. Of course, it's a lot brighter, a lot more colorful. And I think anyone would be happy with it, regardless of the tone mapping issues. But after I did the mod to release more brightness, I didn't just release more brightness by increasing the ANA peak. I also tweak the EOTF tracking. Okay, there are some settings to correct the EOTF tracking. And in my opinion, it is now fixed. Like the issues that I'm talking about, they are not there anymore. Near black, it looks bright enough. I would still like it to be a little bit brighter. And unfortunately, the Samsung 20 points calibration doesn't work when you connect it to the PC, it doesn't work. So I cannot change anything there. So it still looks, I would like it to be a little bit brighter still, just a little bit. I mean, to be on par with the C1, basically, when it comes to near black visibility. It's just a little bit darker, but it's okay. At this point, I would say, yeah, that's okay. Maybe the C1 is over brightened the near black. So I'm okay with it. But now the mid tones are looking perfect to me. It just looks absolutely perfect, and it is not because it's brighter, of course. Because it's brighter, it looks amazing. But the biggest advantage that I've seen is on the calibration. Even if it's not accurate, it just looks better to me. But I would bet it is actually doing a better job now following the ELTF than out of the box. I would bet that, but I don't have a colorimeter. I don't know how to test. I don't know how to prove that. But it just looks perfect to me now, and it's not only because of the 2000 nits. But yeah, we'll talk more about it. I want to see how can I present that video. It's amazing, man. But I don't want to be like, oh, you have to do it, because there are some people who don't want to do it, and I don't want them to feel that, because I paid $760, but if you got a 77-inch TV and you spend a lot more money, you might want to be more careful because you might break the TV. So yeah, that's the thing. But it's amazing. Hey, how are you, Mattooth66? My dad gave me the plasma they use in the bathroom. Has less than 4,000 hours on it. Very bright, and the colors are better than any display I own. 4,000 hours. My C1 has more hours than that. That's almost new. Amazing. Which model is that? Is that a Panasonic too? It is hard to know the real lifespan of an OLED. I just know that they start to die when dead black pixels start to appear near the borders of the screen. Yeah, I'm very late. There's a lot more comments, but I wanna reach all of them. So feel free to keep dropping the comments. I'm gonna read all of them regardless, until we get to 1 hour and a half or maybe 2 hours. So Nathan Green says, yep, that's me. I am a black level slot. Yeah, I mean the G4, when it comes to the way the screen looks, is better. No question about that. This doesn't look black at all. It doesn't even look gray at all. This looks kind of purple right now. It's not great, but I thought it was going to be a much uglier purple for the second generation QD OLED, because it was looking a lot worse on the store to me. But it's not terrible. I can't believe it's gray, but yeah, it's kind of purple, but it's okay. But the G4 is better, although the MLA raises the blacks a little bit. So better than the G4 will be the C4 when it comes to the way the screen looks. But of course, the C4 is a lot brighter, and I would take that any day. Absolutely. Hossein says, I have a C2 now, and I want to upgrade the TV. What I buy, LG or Samsung? Is it C4 better deal? So in my opinion, if you already have a WRGB OLED, get a QD OLED. It makes no sense, in my opinion. Just get something different. That would be my recommendation. Yes, the C4 is brighter. You're going from 800 nits to 1,000, and you're getting brighter average picture level. But it's not worth it unless you're getting a very, very good price for a big size and you want to upgrade the size and you're happy with LG. LG is a very solid TV when it comes to the settings, the menus. It's fantastic. It just works. It works very well. The brand have no issues with this. Well, I do have issues because they like to lock settings, but I mean, all companies do that. But the thing is, the technology. You want to get a QD OLED. If you already have a WRGB, get a QD OLED for sure, or wait for inkjet printed OLED or something different. I would get something different, in my opinion. Thorough Gamer says, do you still prefer gaming on your C1 with BFI over the Samsung, despite it not being as nice overall? So here's the thing. I am not being able to get 120 frames in many of the latest games that I'm playing. For example, I'm playing right now The Last of Us, the remake. And yeah, I cannot get even close to 120 FPS unless I make it look like a potato. So then with the C1, I would have to use OLED Motion Pro High, which is very good at 60, and it's very bright, as I show you in the comparison. It's almost as bright as the S95C with BFI, which is crazy because the S95C is a lot brighter. But that's to show you how good the technology is. But the thing is, it flickers a little bit, and I am losing that HDR brightness. With the S95C at 60 FPS, I have Game Motion Plus, and it doesn't look as clear as the C1 in motion. It doesn't. But it's okay. And I get all that HDR brightness. So I get all the performance. And that's beautiful. When it works for the specific game you're playing, of course, not for competitive gaming, but for the games I play, it's great. It's great. But now the C1, if I upgrade my PC, get a more powerful GPU, and I can get those 120 frames per second to use OLED Motion Pro High, that is a different level of experience. Forget about the colors. Yes, nice and bright colors are awesome, but when you move the camera, you're playing your games, you're moving all the time. You move the camera and it looks so clear. Yeah, give me that. And you have perfect blacks too, so yeah. So I want to keep both, basically. I'm not getting rid of the C1 until it dies, and then I am fixing it. So yeah, unless, yeah, this pixels start to die or something like that. But so far, it's okay. Don't get the C4. It won't be a huge improvement. Get a QD OLED if you want to experience a step up in gamma and brightness. Yeah. Why Vincent doesn't seem to care about motion clarity? Interesting question. See, Vincent is all about accuracy and the creator's intent. And he doesn't play games. So what is the creator's intent in movies? 24 frames per second. That absolutely sucks. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter what you do to it. 24 or even 30 frames per second is bad, in my opinion. You want as much frames as possible. Even if that, is gonna look different to what you are used to, because if I record myself, to put an example, sometimes or almost all the time, I watch my own videos, okay, because I want to improve, see, if I made a mistake, to make a correction on the video. When I watch my own videos at 60 FPS, that is a lot more revealing. It is significantly more comfortable to record yourself at 24 or 30 FPS. It's not even close, because when you record yourself at such a low frame rate, everything blends in. It is more believable, it's more movie-like. It is easier to, let's say, to act. But it looks terrible. It just, so you're going to lose that with a higher frame rate, but it's going to look better. It's no question, especially if we're talking about action movies or something like Avatar, CGI, or cartoonish movies. You want a high frame rate, man. 24, 30 FPS sucks. So that's why Vincent doesn't talk about motion clarity. There's no motion clarity whatsoever at 30 frames per second. You have judder. At low frame rate, you don't even have motion blur. You have judder. It looks like this, like that. and then you want to be a purist and not use motion interpolation at all because it's the creator's intent and you don't want to see any soap opera effect. That's why he doesn't talk about motion clarity, because he doesn't play games. That's not his thing. His thing is accuracy and the creator's intent. And that's all well and good. I just disagree with the creator's intent. I think 24, 30 FPS should be completely eliminated. It doesn't make any sense other than to save space and bandwidth and all of that, which of course is probably the reason why it's still here. Marcel says, congratulations, 10,000 subs on YouTube. Keep on with your great work. Well, thank you very much. Sambonik says, all I think of the past now. All I think of the past now. It is all the time. Undisputed Champion says, are you Cuban? I used to live in Hialeah. A lot of Cubans over there. Yes, I'm Cuban. I come from Cuba. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here, man. The US is amazing. So he's getting the 9800X 3D in about a week. Well, it seems like we're going to need it for some of these latest games. I watch a benchmark video about Monster Hunter, and it is so CPU heavy. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy to get high frame rate in these games now. Hello, Plasma. Better buy a 5090 and enjoy 120 FPS BFI on your C1. Yeah, but here's the thing. A 5090 is not gonna be enough because I'm gonna need a faster CPU. So then I have to upgrade the motherboard, then the RAM. Then so it's not the 5090 only. It's a lot more money. Plus the 5090 is gonna be like $2,300 probably. So yeah, it's going to be awesome, but I'm not gonna be able to push 120 FPS rock solid with the games we're getting today. No way, no way. So it is a much bigger investment for sure. So with the S95C, I don't even need a new GPU because I can get 60 FPS on the games we have today, even if I have to use DLSS performance. And then from 60 to 120 with the TV, sounds good. So unless the 5090 comes out with amazing global frame generation that works for every single game, so or asynchronous reprojection, if the 5090 comes out and it is like asynchronous reprojection, so you will always get the maximum, you will get all the frames you need to achieve the maximum refresh rate of your display all the time. It doesn't matter how many frames, actual frames your GPU is rendering, or if it is CPU bound, it doesn't matter. You always get that. And the only difference, of course, is gonna be some of the occlusion artifacts and all of that. Yes, I will get that for sure, but I don't think that's happening like that. They're probably going to 4x frame generation with the 50,000 series. So it's gonna be awesome. But the thing is, the S95C was just such a great deal for the price and the experience, the upgrade on my experience when it comes to HDR. It is awesome, absolutely awesome. Chrysler says, hey Ariel, the Asus OLED PG27 AQDP monitor has BF5 at 240 Hertz, but it doesn't allow HDR at the same time. Yeah, that is nonsense, man, because probably the HDR mode is brighter. It might not, but most likely. And the thing is, these monitors that are, including BFI, I am glad the option is there, but they are not doing what the C1 does. They are just doing what the S95C or pretty much all TVs after 2021. What they are doing is just doing black frame insertion, and that's not very efficient to get the best motion clarity with the least amount of brightness loss. It is not the best way. And And a proof of that is LG C1 with BFI, which is not actually BFI, with OLED Motion Pro versus the S95C. They almost have the same brightness, and the C1 is significantly more clear in motion. That's to show you it's not a great way, but I am glad the option is there. But if you cannot even use HDR and you're losing a lot of brightness, and now you need to have 120 FPS rock solid, the C1 does a much better job. But I'm glad these companies are starting to include BFI. But yeah, and the thing is with monitors too, sometimes you don't even have settings to fix the gamma for BFI. So if the in-game settings are not good enough, then you cannot even use the feature. Unless they calibrated the mode, it wouldn't work. That's one thing I believe all these TV and monitor companies, when they include the feature, the BFI or any other backlight manipulation technique, they should calibrate the display on that mode. So the gamma should change completely so it looks accurate with BFI. So you are not crushing blacks and everything looks super dark or washed out or whatever. They have to understand that they have to calibrate the display with the feature on so it looks good, so people use the feature, so it can earn a good reputation, and then we can start to snowball those kind of technologies so we get better and better, not just this lazy BFI implementations that we're getting. But at least it's something, and I'm glad it exists. But yeah, the BFI on the S95C is not great. There is a narrative that keeps popping, says T. Beckett. It keeps popping up with some owners of both WOLED and QD-OLED sets claiming, although QD-OLED has more color vividness, the WOLED has deeper blacks, thus more depth. True or false? I believe, and the reason why I say I believe is because it is so difficult to demonstrate. It is so difficult to notice. But I'm going to make a video about it. I need to find some test patterns, or I can create a test pattern myself on Paint. Just push the brightness to see the raised blacks. But I strongly believe that you are definitely losing the perfect blacks because the screen of the QD-OLED screen lights up even with the smallest amount of light, okay? And it doesn't have to necessarily be direct light. Even with indirect lighting, the screen is going to light up. The pixels should light up. And then it is so bright. The TV is so bright, it is lighting up the entire room. So of course the blacks are going to be affected. The contrast has to be affected. And I strongly believe that my C1, yes, it does have better blacks, better contrast. Not better contrast because, when you talk about contrast, then we're talking about brightness too. But it definitely has deeper blacks, and it looks more like an OLED. It looks more like an OLED than a QD OLED. I would bet that that's the case, but I cannot prove it right now. It's gonna be very difficult to prove that on YouTube. But I strongly suspect that. Now the thing is, yes, perfect blacks are amazing, but brightness and color vibrancy are amazing too. And the thing is, once you turn on this QD OLED and those colors punch you in the face, it's like, wow. Then you're like, okay, if the blacks are not as perfect, yeah, I can live with that. It's not the end of the world. You are going to definitely take the downgrade in the contrast. But the thing is, yes, contrast is the most important attribute of picture quality. That's what HDTV test says. And I'm sure he got it from a book or something. Yeah, it makes sense. But the thing is, contrast is about perfect blacks, but it's also about that HDR power. Of course, infinite contrast only happens with perfect blacks. So if the blacks are not perfect, you don't have infinite contrast. So then it is not as good. But yeah, man, the thing is, you look at the S95C versus the LG C1, and I'm 100% sure that everyone is going to agree. If people who don't know anything about TVs, they are going to agree that the S95C looks better. Okay, it is undeniably. You cannot argue with that. It's so obvious. It is impossible to say, oh no, but I have better blacks here. When you have like 4 times the color brightness, you cannot just say, oh no, yeah, it is. Yeah, you cannot. There's no way it's better, even if it has that quality. But I agree, the C1 and all these LG OLEDs that have no MLA, they have the best looking screen. But yeah, they don't look perfect either. They don't look perfectly black. They also have like a pink look. So yeah, nothing is perfect so far. I think, well, my Samsung S23 Ultra screen looks better than anything else when it comes to the way the screen looks. Nathan Green says, what do you think LG is going to do going forward with OLED? Just keep improving MLA to compete with Samsung. At least for the near future, right? They don't have another choice. And I watched a video from FOMO, and he's all about the latest news. And he said that probably the phosphorus, blue or phosphorus with fluorescent blue combination. He's saying that probably is not going to happen because, these companies are all about making money. And yeah, if it costs too much money to just start a new technology and develop it and all that, if it doesn't make sense financially, they're not going to do it. So they might just keep doing the same thing. I mean, here's the thing: these TVs are so good already. The enthusiast community is not big enough to push for these TV manufacturers or to push the boundaries so much. I think gaming is really the market that pushes the technology forward. But TVs, nor regular people are just gonna be blown away with the TVs we have today. And the content, the regular content that people watch is terrible. It looks absolutely horrendous. Even if we're talking about an HDR movie, it's just terrible in comparison with gaming. It's not even close. When you can play a game with all those pixels and clarity without film grain and all the chromatic aberration, all the camera defects, the old camera defects that the movie industry likes to perpetuate for these movies. Gaming is just looks so much better on these TVs. It's not even close. So I don't think regular people need better TVs at all. These TVs are more than good enough for regular people. So the enthusiast community is not big enough. I think we're gonna be stuck with the same thing for a while. But hopefully not. Hopefully micro LED becomes cheap and then we get a huge upgrade. Haki says, with your HDR SDR trick, the C1 looks with sufficient brightness and very good motion clarity. Yes, but the thing is, when you talk about brightness and HDR impact and all of that, it is all about comparison. Okay, you compare that with what? So you can be totally happy with a plasma TV. For example, this Pioneer Kuro is 80 nits. 80 nits. Less than that, actually. And it looks amazing. Okay. And I'm sure anyone could be happy with this TV on a dark room. It just looks absolutely unbelievably good. Now you put it side by side with a QD OLED and you see those colors and that improvement brightness, you're gonna be wow. So it is all about, it's a comparison. Like if you have it, just if you have your TV by itself, it's a good TV, like OLED, you can be totally happy with it. And the other thing is, the way our brain works and our nervous system is we get used to it. So it doesn't matter how bright and colorful a TV is, you're going to get used to it. And if you want to have just this, dynamic tone mapping or active tone mapping effect all the time, you're gonna get used to that eye-searing brightness, and then it loses the effect. So now the thing is, when you go back, that's when the thing becomes a problem. But myself, I am happy going back and playing with my plasma sometimes because I appreciate the different qualities that my plasma has. Even when, of course, it doesn't come even close to this OLED, but it looks great and it is not bright at all. It's not very super dim, actually. It still looks amazing. Always in a room with control ambient light, of course. Yeah, that's key. No, the plasma under lighting conditions looks terrible. You cannot even watch it. How is the depth compare with these two TVs? LG has that depth 3D thing going for it. In some videos, QD OLED looks a lot flatter in comparison. So I think we should definitely have 3D back. I mean, I cannot wait for this channel to grow more. We have 10,000 subscribers. That's awesome. I want to get to the level where I can speak with some of this company representative, or I even have a company send me a monitor so I can give them my feedback or something like that. I cannot wait for that moment to come, so I can have a little bit of influence over this kind of stuff. Because if I can speak with Samsung, LG representative, or Sony, I would tell them, bring 3D back. Okay, and here is how you can make it successful. Make a simulated 3D an option for gaming. So you can basically have 3D gaming for all games, and the game doesn't have to support anything. That would be, I mean, one of the biggest selling points, in my opinion, and make the experience as comfortable as possible when it comes to the glasses or whatever the technology, or even if it is glassless 3D would be amazing, and that's possible. We need that, man. We need real 3D. So yeah, I see people saying, "Oh, this TV looks like it is 3D." Real 3D. If you use a VR headset or you watched 3D, I mean, that's 3D. But yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yes, I'm going to explore that. I'll make a video about it. I have to test it more. But yeah, I believe so. Max Drago says, someone said QD OLED burn faster because there's no white subpixel. No, I think are things with the studies that they did. I think actually everything is coming down to the pixel refresh algorithm and the way LG has, basically LG has been in the business for a very long time, a lot longer than QD OLEDs. So they already figured out the way to protect the panel, and how often they schedule the pixel cleaning and all the things that the TV does when you turn it off and it cleans itself. So that seemed to be the biggest difference. But of course, there has to be a difference between the two technologies and which one is better. But most likely, the way the TV protects itself has a bigger impact than anything else. Rodrigo says, there a new TV that has motion clarity like the C1 TV now. So all TVs, yes, that Sony LCD TV that I showed on like a month and a half or 2 months ago, that Sony TV was like a CRT in motion, a lot better than the C1. And I guess actually people on that video told me that there was a 4K Sony that had the same features. So that would be amazing. 60 FPS, it looks like a CRT, but of course LCD contrast and black levels, not great. So yeah, it's not an OLED. So yeah, for OLEDs, the C1, I think it is the best. C1, CX, G1, GX, of course. The C9 also has 120 BFI, but I don't know how good it is. The C9 was a bright TV in comparison with the CX, so it might be great. It might be even the best. I don't know. I've never seen. I've never tested it. UMax says my bros QD OLED Gen 3 is can already see the lines of YouTube at 1%. Only grayscale though after 6 months, but no color banding, so it is not noticeable. Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying there, but Gen 3 QD OLED is fantastic. It is a shame that Samsung decided to put a matte finish on that S95D, but the technology is amazing. I mean, you can get 3,000 nits with that S95D. There is a glossy version of the S95D. It's not the S95Ds. I forgot the model. It is only available in Germany, I think people told me. That might be the best TV in the world. If you get that and you get all those 3,000 nits with a glossy screen, that's gonna be bananas. But yeah, for now, 480 hertz OLED monitors will be better than the C1 with 120 BFI. So the C1 with 120 OLED Motion Pro High is like 312 based on my testing. So 480 is better, but you need 480 FPS. Or if the monitor has a BFI, you can get 240 FPS and double the clarity. That would be great, but you need 240 frames per second, which is not easy. You are not getting that on any Unreal Engine games or any of the latest AAA games. It's difficult to get 120 just because of the CPU, regardless if you get a 5090 or whatever. So let alone 240 or 480. How is the sharpness compared to your C1? Is Samsung acceptable for 1080p content? So I have not tested on the S95C. I have not tested any movie or regular content or low quality content because I just want to enjoy the TV. See, I'm going to make videos in the future. I'm going to test all the features that the TV has, the motion interpolation for movies. I'm going to test everything. But right now, I just got the TV. I want to enjoy it. So gaming, I don't want to right now dedicate time to anything that's not the highest quality, the best HDR gaming possible. But yeah, I will definitely try that. But when it comes to the sharpness, WRGB OLED is better. It's undeniable. My C1, the text clarity is perfect in my opinion. It might be better with RGB, of course, but it is definitely the best display I have when it comes to clarity. Actually, my Pioneer Kuro is fantastic. It's 1080p only, but it looks very, very clear. So I might do a video comparing the text clarity with the Kuro, the C1, and the S95C. And I'm gonna zoom in to see if I can show you the difference. But the S95C is not good. For text clarity, it's not good. And on PC mode, the sharpness is kind of messed up for text clarity. I don't like it. I have to figure that out. Maybe a better value for the slider or something. But yeah, I use it in console mode, and I'm actually happier with the text clarity than on PC mode. It doesn't look the same. The Plasma is an insignia, so nothing special. Best Buy sold the 42-inch for a decent price, Oh, you say that's the comment with the plasma. So it's just an old plasma, like a regular one. So it still has gray black, zero color banding on full screen colors. Yeah, full screen colors on the plasma are flawless, absolutely perfect, unless the plasma has some dirt screen effect, which is possible too. Man, let me do this. We're 1 hour already, and I have a lot of comments to go through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the latest comment, and then I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna start reading from the latest comment up, and when I get to the last one, we finish the stream, so I can read them. So Paki says, I fear that the C1 will suffer the same fate. So you're probably talking about the. Okay, let me see what you're talking about. Frame generation. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. Beamup says, problem I've seen hearing use CX owners now are seeing a lot of dead pixels. Okay, so you're talking about dead pixels. Hard to throw money at something that could die as soon as I buy. I mean, my C1 doesn't have a lot of issues. Maybe if I zoom in, I might see some dead pixels, but I don't want to do that. The last thing I want to is to realize that my LG C1 has dead pixels. I don't want to find that out. You know, I am looking the S95C under a microscope, especially now that I got all the brightness on the service menu. I am using full screen colors on the grayscale, and I'm checking everything in case it has an issue, so I can replace it or return it. But after the return period goes, I am never going to look at that again because I don't want to see the defects. Because once you see a defect, then you cannot unsee it, and I don't want to even know. So yeah. Well, thank you, Dead Tramp. So yeah, frame generation. Ali Black. Well, thanks for being here, man. You're one of the OGs. Congrats, brother. Still remember your first video. Yeah, man, you've been here from the beginning. Well, thank you very much. I think you got a QD OLED too. Yeah, if you can get 100 hertz, then yeah, BFI would be good. Yeah, BFI works on the C1 at 100. Actually, I use it more at 100 than at 120 because those last 20 frames is so difficult to get perfect all the time. It is a lot easier to get 100, a lot easier, especially for the CPU. I have 5800 X3D, which is very good. Yeah, I cannot. So a Thorough Gamer says, yeah, I cannot imagine gaming without BFI. Yeah, I mean that BFI experience. If you have a 4090, you can get 120 frames or even 100. Is something else, man. Forget about colors and brightness. Yeah, that's very nice, but yeah, play on a CRT and then you forget about HDR. If you get a big enough CRT that has high enough resolution, yes, you're not going to care too much that it's not very bright and colorful. Although there are some CRTs that are crazy bright, impressively so. So yeah, talking about BFI. BFI 60 on the CX flickers less than BFI 60 on the C1, but more than BFI 120. So you're saying that BFI on the CX flickers less than on the C1? I don't know why would that be the case, because the CX 60 BFI, based on the reports from members of our community, it looks the same as 120. So 60 FPS OLED Motion Pro High on the CX looks as clear as 120 FPS OLED Motion Pro High. And the difference is at 120, it looks brighter. So that's not how it works on the C1, because the C1 is not improving the motion that much. So a C1 at 60 looks significantly brighter, than at 120, but it doesn't look as clear, of course. So yeah, that's a surprise. But the thing is, flickering perception depends on the person. So it might flicker less for you, and that's awesome. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the case for everyone. Actually, talking about flickering, I'm going to share. You see, the next video is probably going to be my recommended settings for clear motion, the BFI of the S95C. And the reason why I want to share those settings first is because I am going to recommend you to use those settings to do the mod first. And let me explain you why. Before you get all 2000 nits on the service menu on your second gen QD OLED, I recommend you to use BFI, to use clear motion. And the reason is, there was a TV calibrator on the previous live stream who said, and I'm not sure if that's true or if that's him trolling, because he has a special personality, so he might be enjoying himself trolling me with that. But it might be true because it makes sense. He said, don't do the 2000 nits mod on your S95C. And so I asked him, oh, why you were hyping up that last year and saying that the S95C with the 2000 nits mod is like the best thing ever. Why you use it and you hype it up if then you're telling me not to do it? So you don't want me to enjoy it, but you did. So why? So he said, no, because his S95C got not a dead pixel, but one pixel got stuck on red. It was like red all the time. And then, of course, if you go back and undo the mod, then it was okay. So I thought, okay, is there anything I can do to maybe have a better chance, maybe reduce the chance of that happening? BFI, because BFI is turning on and off the pixel, it's flickering. And I think that is going to reduce the likelihood of that happening. It is going to reduce the chance of burning too. It just makes sense. And actually, on my LG C1, when using the flickering, I discovered by accident, when I increase the low point of the 2-point calibration to 5 RGB, I get a little bit of black level rays. And that black level rays causes image retention, because the pixels, when you have a bright object or any object really on screen, there are some pixels that are stuck on gray, and you get that image retention. Now, when you turn on OLED Motion Pro on the C1, the image retention clears immediately to a point where you cannot even see image retention at all. So for me, that might be a proof that BFI, or this flickering, is protective against burning and image retention, and of course burning. So my thought process was, before releasing 2000 nits on the S95C, I want to turn on BFI. So suddenly, the first time the TV just unleash all the brightness, you have a less, you reduce the chance of a pixel dying, like too much for the first time. So I let the TV warm up with BFI, and I'm going to share with you the settings, which actually I believe the settings are very good, because the flickering got reduced significantly. And the way I know that is because I compare that with my C1, and it flickers significantly less with the settings I'm going to share with you, to a point where when I have my C1 side by side with the S95C, the S95C looks like sample and hold in comparison with the C1, because it's flickering less. So I get used to the S95C because it's still flickering, but I get used to it. If the C1 was flickering less or on par with it, I believe I should not notice like a big difference. But in comparison, the C1 looks like it is flickering, and the S95C, when I get used to it, looks like it is not flickering. With the settings I'm going to share with you, without the settings, they are both flickering, to my perception, equally as bad. So those settings are very nice, but the reason why I'm going to share that before sharing how to get the 2000 nits is because I'm going to recommend you, if you want to try the mod, use BFI before you get all the brightness. And I'm gonna recommend you some content to let it warm up, and we're going to increase the brightness, you know, how do you say, like progressively. We're not going to just boom blow all the brightness of the TV immediately and just start playing games. I don't think that's the best. So that's what I did, and the result is I don't see any dead pixels yet, and it worked pretty nice. So if it didn't make any difference, it's still not going to hurt, and I think it's a good idea. So yeah, yeah, you don't even need BFI. BFI is great, especially when you don't have 240 FPS on an OLED, which is, I mean, 240 FPS on an OLED is already very, very good, very hard to get. But below 240 FPS, yeah, the motion blur, anyone should be able to see the difference. It's not good enough. So yeah, so I'm just reading the comments going backwards, talking about BFI and flickering. So BeamUp says flicker more on the CX than the C1. Yeah, that's what I've heard. 60 BFI flickers more on the CX, and it makes sense because the CX looks more clear than the C1 at 60 with OLED Motion Pro High. From the C2 on, there's no point buying since 120 hertz BFI is removed. Yeah, such a shame. Yeah, the CX at 60 is like 310, like what was the 312, like the C1 at 120, based on what people have reported to me. You have a comfort channel live going on because you're one of us. Yeah, it is absolutely mind-blowing to see 60 FPS turn into 300 plus with perfect motion clarity, the same as LG C1 at 120 BFI. It is revolutionary because it is only 60 FPS. Yeah, if you can deal with the flickering, the CX at 60 is fantastic from what I've seen. Actually, I have searched on the used market for a GX, like a used GX. That's cheap, but the thing is, to pay $700 for a used TV that's very old, that's not. I would have to get it for like $300 or something like that, and people are not giving it away for that price. So 8K is not as important as motion clarity. Yeah, but we need 8K though. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, 8K is not necessary. We don't need 8K at all." Yeah, we need 8K definitely, just to get a more clear picture. But of course, we need to get rid of the TAA and all the blurriness we have on the games. But no anti-aliasing. Through 8K everywhere, no half resolution stuff. That would be amazing. That would be great. Actually, 16K might be the top. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. But yeah, we need more pixels. Absolutely. So is the QD OLED so bright that raises the black level on its own because it makes the room too bright? Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. It's hard to prove, but I strongly believe that's going on. And not even that. Maybe because it is so bright, it's going to light up nearby pixels. So and I can actually try to prove that on YouTube. If I have like a very, very bright small square on screen, and then I cut something like a piece of cartoon or something, a piece of board, I cut that and then I put that on the screen, so that super bright light is not blinding me, so I can avoid that. And then I look at the nearby pixels, they could be on and light up. It's not going to be blooming, but yeah, I strongly suspect that that's going to be the case. So I'll try to test that. Look through more like 100 to 120 nits full screen brightness on GX, but you have to set the correct settings. It looks amazing. Trust me, I've spent a lot of time playing with the settings to get the best. Yeah, so talking about the brightness with BFI. Yeah, CX and C1 is like 150 nits full screen. But again, my plasma is 80 nits and looks amazing. You don't need, when you see a plasma, you realize you don't need that much brightness to get a fantastic picture quality. But of course, the brighter the better after you get perfect blacks. No question about that. So yeah, LG needs to bring back 120 BFI for sure. So this is game optimizer. So CX is left with 16 nits full screen after turning 60 Hertz BFI. That's the big issue. Plus, there's no game optimizer on the CX model that you can change the black and white stabilizers. You can change. So 60 nits full screen is still usable. That is still usable. My plasma, if I don't go to the service menu to get all the brightness, my Pioneer Curve is like that, 60 nits. And it is usable. If you tweak, the thing is, we of course like it to be bright, but the most important thing is that you're not crushing blacks. So if you fix the gamma with BFI on, if you fix the gamma so everything looks okay, it is fine. You realize you don't actually need that much brightness, and the motion clarity is great. So yeah, it is a trade-off that's definitely worth trying for sure if you can deal with the flickering at 60. Yeah, QD OLEDs have the wow factor, that's for sure. Yeah, the color brightness is very impressive, man. I really like it. Cypher says, I was originally looking at the G4, QN900D, and Z3 for my next TV. Well, those are the most expensive TVs. But after much side-by-sides and too many comparisons, I ended up with a Samsung S95D, a TV I disregarded immediately due to the matte. Yeah, man, it is such a shame because the S95D has third generation QD OLED, which is probably the best HDR panel you can have right now. But yeah, it is a shame they decided to put a matte finish on it. It's still great, I mean, because it is so good. I mean, it's difficult to mess up, but yeah, thank you very much, man. Why is LG coming out with QD OLED? I would buy that ASAP. Yeah, LG has the best settings, the best calibration controls, the most solid, firmware updates and software. Yeah, LG QD OLED, I will get that for sure. Now, they just need to add 120 BFI, and they need to add the low latency motion interpolation that Samsung has for gaming. All TV companies should add that 100%. It is so important for gaming, man. It's like a no-brainer. I don't understand. Like it is good enough on the Samsung, and that, so just being good enough, it's amazing. Yeah, it's just a feature that's amazing. So they just need to make it okay, and it's a selling point, in my opinion, especially for console gaming. Yeah, And QD OLED makes game mode come alive. It makes game look like it got an upgrade. Yeah, the HDR upgrade is a real thing. Even says my 85-inch mini LED is coming today. It has 2300 mini LED backlights, so blooming should be difficult to see. The only thing with mini LEDs for gaming is that sometimes, or maybe all the time, the game mode doesn't get the processing to get the best picture quality for gaming. So if you're not gaming, that doesn't matter. But if you play games, maybe you might be disappointed because you see, okay, this TV looks amazing. Now when I play games on game mode, it's a different TV. I watch a video from Max Chambliss about the TCL QM8, and he didn't like the QM8 at all for gaming. He said it's a different TV. The local dimming and all the processing is not the same. So that's important to consider. You go to the store and you're watching the TV, but it's not in game mode. So you might not get that picture quality on game mode if you play games. Nathan Green says QD OLED doesn't have a polarizer as well. W OLED does. However, MLA raises it slightly. So to the order of black levels in a room with lights, it will be number one, WRGB OLED, MLA, WRGB, and then QD OLED. Yeah, I agree. The glossy screen of LG's WRGB are the best for sure. And MLA is not bad at all. I saw the G4 and the G3 on the store, and I couldn't see the raised blacks issue at all. Honestly, on the store I couldn't see it. So I'm sure if I take it home, I would see it. But with the demo material that they were playing there, I didn't see the issue. And I made a video about it. I was like, man, it's not a big deal. The raised blacks, it is definitely worth it to get more brightness, basically. I think the C1 has a better ratio of brightness loss versus motion clarity gain compared to CX GX. What I would like is LG to give more options. See, for the BFI, any display company that decides to include BFI settings or strobing or any backlight manipulation technique or OLED, PWM or whatever, they have to understand that flickering perception depends on the person. And you need to have a lot of settings to tweak the flickering, because for each individual person, you need to calibrate that, basically. So you need to be able to calibrate the picture quality, but also the flickering, how much flickering, how much brightness. The other thing is, how much brightness are you willing to sacrifice for better motion? Each one might have its own preference. So basically on the C1, they should let me change the pulse, the size of the pulse. So the smaller the pulse, the better the motion clarity, the dimmer it gets and more flickering you get. And the other thing is that they should let me use the feature at different refresh rates, 60, 75, ideally at any refresh rate, but I understand maybe there's a limitation with the ADID or EDID or whatever. But let me use the feature at many different refresh rates, because maybe what happens with flickering is, okay, it's flickering at 60 for you. You change it to 75 and the flickering is gone completely and you cannot see it. So you need to find, maybe for you it's 75, maybe for me it's gonna be 68 or or 80. It depends on the person. So it is crucial for flickering technologies to succeed, it is crucial that the gamma gets adjusted so you get as accurate as possible picture quality. The flickering needs adjustment. The brightness, of course, the brightness is going to be adjusted with the flickering and the motion clarity too. So yeah, it is mandatory. I just don't know why they don't do it. Bro, I'll pay 50% off if you buy an LG CX GX for the channel. It has got the same motion clarity as 60 BFI as the C1 at 120 BFI, and it also supports 120 BFI if you want. Let's do it. I want the world to know. So you pay 50% of the price of the TV? Okay, send me an email. It's aerialguitarclasses@gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll see if I can find the CX or GX for $600, and you pay $300. I'll pay the other $300. Let's do it. If it's cheaper, it will be better. Yeah, let's do it. Congrats on the 10,000K. At least on QD OLED panels. Thank you very much. FGR8 full. Thorough gamer, but not the same smoothness at 120. I am of the same opinion. I am keeping my 77 GX until the day it dies because 60 BF5 and GX is the same motion as 120 on C1. It would be amazing if you got one to compare. Yeah, I've hunted for those, man. It's difficult to find. Movies higher than 24 FPS look fishy. Yeah, I mean, everyone has its opinion with that, but I strongly believe I'm right on that one. The skin color looks orange on my bro's new Alienware QD OLED Gen 3. Keep in mind that QD OLED monitors might not be clamping the color gamut. So on SDR, you get overly saturated colors because the color gamut is not being reduced to be SDR accurate. So you basically have HDR colors inside SDR, and that looks wild. That's like what some people like to do with TV settings to make it look more impressive. You reduce the brightness, and you get that SDR brightness, and you get HDR colors, and it looks absolutely ferocious. So that might be why. In fact, better than 120 LG C1 BFI is 480 hertz, 2 milliseconds of persistence, and BFI 120 is like 3.2 pixel. Yeah, I made a mistake on the video. I don't know why. Actually, I know why I made a mistake when I said 480 hertz. It's like it's 2 milliseconds of persistence. But the thing is, I have explained this so much before. Before we have 480 hertz OLEDs, I used to have 240 hertz as the example. So that's what happened. I have repeated this so much that then when I said 480 hertz, I didn't. So basically, I had the 240 hertz, and it came out. That's why. So yeah, let's leave it there. I catch up with all the comments. Let's leave it there. I know we have more after that. So tell Gaming Tech to give his CX. He officially dumped it. Yeah, Gaming Tech is in Australia, so the shipping will be more expensive than the TV. So yeah, thanks for everyone who showed up, and I really appreciate you for being here. A lot of more content coming. I have a lot of things to learn, a lot of settings to share. Now the thing is, I didn't wait to get all the 2000 nits mod to share more about the TV without the 2000 nits. I couldn't wait because I wanted to make sure that it worked and I didn't have any issues with it, so I could return it. And it might be a problem that all the settings change when you do that. So the clipping point for HDR changes, EOTF tracking, everything changes. So basically, if I just give you my recommendations, but for you to try my recommendation, you need to go to service menu and do all the stuff I'm going to share with you. That's not going to be very popular. But I'm not going to reduce the brightness. There's no going back after you see that. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you all about it if you want to do the 2000 nits mod. It's not very difficult, but it is risky for sure. So yeah, let's see how it goes. A lot of videos, a lot of video ideas that I have with the S95C. I mean, I made like 300 videos with the C1. So I mean, we have plenty of content. Of course, maybe I'm not gonna make so many videos about the S95C because we can figure out things a little bit faster now. But yeah, there's a lot to share. I'm going to try and test everything about the TV, even the things that I don't use, like interpolation for movies. I'm going to try just the regular presets that the TV has for movie content. For people who are just interested in using the TV as a TV and not as a gaming monitor. And yeah, in general, I'm gonna tell you all about the TV. And yeah, we're gonna cover the new games too when they come out. I'm not playing the Veilguard though, so I'm not going to make videos about all the games. I'm gonna cover the games that I play. So, but yeah, let's see how that goes. How you deal with poor YouTube HDR processing the last days? I don't have any control over it. YouTube HDR processing takes forever. So yeah. You ask me, what music are you into? I've seen your guitar. Yeah, I'm a guitar teacher. I play classical guitar mainly, but I also play electric guitar. And the kind of music that I like is virtuoso stuff, like things that are like fast and whatever. Even if it's a different instrument, like a violin or something, I like to watch virtuoso players. So that's what I strive for. Try to get the fastest scales and all of that. More than the music, actually. I like the competition aspect of the music. I enjoy that. So yeah. The same of your C1 content relate to the C4. The C4, the only difference is that it is 1000 nits for the HGIG, but the settings are very similar. And the new settings that the C4 has are the HDR tone mapping off and on and dynamic tone mapping to change the roll-off point. Those settings are great. The best tone mapping settings on the industry right now. I mean, there's no other TV company has better tone mapping settings than LG. So that's the new things, but the rest of the things should be the same. Even if you have an LCD LG TV, it's almost the same. I tried a cheap LCD TV from LG, that 85-inch TV that I share. Same settings. Everything was almost the same. And it was a very, very low end TV. So yeah, all those videos about the C1 work for the C4. Just keep in mind, there is a progression on the channel. The older videos, I didn't know what I know now. And we didn't have RTX HDR before the ICC profile to fix the gamma. I was fixing it with TV settings, so we know better now. But yeah, most of those old videos are things that you can try on the C4 too. C4, G4. Ali Black says, any fix for screen tearing on Cyberpunk when frame gen is on? Frame gen on Cyberpunk. I have not checked Cyberpunk again in a while. We were getting screen tearing with frame gen on. I don't know. I force VSync on the GPU control panel and lock the FPS with Riva Turner. But screen tearing, that's weird. I don't know. I have to try to see. Yeah, I'll drop a guitar video one of these days. I will. The thing is, G4 is a better TV for gaming than the S95C. I haven't tried the C4, the G4. I can tell you that the LG experience with the settings and the calibration controls is far superior. It's not even close. I mean, the settings you have on the LG is like it's the best. Doesn't come even close to the S95C. I'm sorry, it's much better than the S95C. But picture quality, QD OLED is something different. Okay, the vibrancy and the color brightness that you can get with QD OLED is very good. Now the G4 with the ML8 looks amazing too. I saw it on the store. It looks fantastic. The thing is very expensive. I paid $760 for the S95C. I cannot get a G4, not even for double the price. So that's the thing. Samsung, last year Samsung TV gets very cheap. TKK also got an S95B last year for $800. So you cannot beat that. That's the thing. Of course, if you want a bigger size, yeah, you have to pay for it. Hi from Mexico. How's it going, Gustavo? Richie Kalel says, love your content. I also have a C1 and S95C, 65-inch fantastic TVs. Picking up a 77-inch S90C for my home movies. I see a lot of people doubling down on QD OLED. Now, if you're picking up a bigger S90C, the thing is, if you mod the S90C, you can get it to the same level as the S95C or more. So, especially that 77-inch, you're guaranteed to have a second gen QD OLED panel. So, yeah, that's a no-brainer. At least go from S90C to S95C. It's a no-brainer. I mean, I highly recommend that one. I'm definitely going to highly recommend it. The 2000 nits mod, do it at your own risk. But this one is a no-brainer. I don't see a reason to not do it. Not even because of voiding the warranty, because actually I'm going to share what you have to do. So there's no way you can void the warranty doing this, basically, because they will not have a way to know what you did. So yeah, that's definitely. But yeah, I would go and mod that S90C for sure. Nathan Green says, only reason I got the 83-inch G4 was I secured for $3,500. Well, that's a good price. That's a very good price for 83 inches. That's fantastic. Those are like $5,000. Crazy. So yeah, that's a great price. And I mean, the 83-inch immersion, that's just gonna be off the chart. It's like, I can only imagine playing that. I played on the 85-inch cheap LG LCD TV, and I can tell you that's probably the worst LCD TV I've ever seen. It was so messed up. Motion clarity was like 60 at 120. It was terrible. And half of the screen was out of sync with the other half. It's just a complete mess. But 85-inch, that was awesome. even with that terrible picture quality. So yeah, I can only imagine that 83-inch with the MLA. What's up, One Up World? Congrats on 10,000K. It's been here since you made a video discovering HLG on the C1 for the first time. Yeah, I remember that video. That was the video that exploded the channel. I got so excited about it when I discovered that trick. So I remember you from the comments. So yeah, let's leave it there. Thanks for everyone who showed up. Thanks for the support. It has been absolutely incredible. The amount of views I'm getting with since I got the S95C, just crazy. I do this because I like it. This YouTube channel. I started, without any intentions of doing it as a job or anything. But of course, once you get rewarded, it becomes a job because you want to keep it up, you want to grow, and it is very exciting to have something that you work so hard for, to see it growing. It is very exciting, and it is very exciting to make more money too. And I can tell you, I BFI the revenue of the channel was basically OLED Motion Pro High. It's like we more than doubled the revenue with this S95C. I almost paid for the TV in less than 3 weeks since I have the S95C. Absolutely insane. That's why I was saying, man, if it was going to be like that, if I start getting TVs, I would make a lot of money. But I don't do it because of the money. I would not enjoy just start getting TVs and returning them. I would not enjoy doing that. But yeah, it has been amazing. So thanks for the support. And most of the support actually is coming from returning viewers of the channel. So we have we've grown this community, people who has been here for a very long time, and they keep coming back. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So thanks for being here, man. Thanks for everyone for being here. I'm late, but when we get in the 2000 nits video, let me test it a little bit more, especially to make sure I don't have any issues, because I just did it yesterday. I think it would be a little bit irresponsible if I come today and tell you you have to do this. This is amazing, and then next day my TV breaks or something. I want to test it a little bit more, but I'm going to tell you all about it for sure. I'm going to tell you all the details, and I'm going to take my time on that video. When I did the mod, I spent like 40 minutes in the service menu, carefully, like reading everything, searching every single setting, everything I move. It was very careful. And so I'm not going to hurry up at all. That video, we're going to take our time. I don't want to hype anything up. I want to be as informative and direct to the point as possible. This is serious stuff, okay? Because you could break the TV. So I want to take it very seriously to make that video. So yeah, give me some time to make sure I don't have any issues, test more, and I will tell you all about it. So probably the next video is going to be the BFI settings that I figured out, because I'm going to recommend you to use BFI for the modding process to hopefully prevent or reduce the chances of burning or pixel dying or getting stuck or something like that. I think BFI is going to help with that. But thank you very much, Miguel. Thank you very much, One Up World. Yeah, I haven't been playing games after doing the mod, but I tried a lot. High on Life, I already beat. I'm still playing the DLC because it's a very colorful game. That's a picture I share on the community post. It looks tremendous. That game with the 2000 nits mod and Major Paint the Cactus is wild. It's like holy insane. And of course, I opened Dragon Ball because it also is like wow. It's like crazy. Um, just one thing a day, 10,000 Ks deserved. Thanks a lot for thanks a lot to you, especially for sharing so far. Well, thank you very much. How's it going, SB Digital? Waiting on your video so I can modify my 77-inch S89C. So you see, it is very exciting because you get very good deal. You probably got a very good deal on that TV. And now with the service menu, you can just take it to a stratospheric level. You're gonna like, it's like if you buy the S95E, not even the S95D gets as bright as this. It's crazy. The value that you can get now, you can break it, but if it survives that, it's just such a huge upgrade. Holy, it's very exciting. It was one of the main reasons why I got this QD OLED, because of the excitement of going to the service menu and getting more brightness. That's amazing. But yeah, it is definitely risky. Getting S95D on the 17th this month. We'll be waiting for that 2000 nits mod. So yeah, the thing is, someone told me, I asked on the community post if you can still access the service menu of the S95D, and someone told me yes, but that they didn't have the latest firmware on the S95D. And I saw that video from Quantum TV where he showed the service menu was not the same. So yeah, regardless of what you think or believe, or agree or disagree with Quantum TV, he makes these videos where he shows you how to access the service menu, and he doesn't recommend to do the mods or anything. But I like that he covers firmware updates and this kind of stuff. So I watched his video, and I think that's so messed up. If Samsung removed the ability to access the service menu, and you cannot do the mod, for example, with the S95D, like someone like you get your S95D, you are expecting it. So you can do the mod, and then when you turn it on, you try to do it, then you cannot, because a firmware update changed that. That's messed up. Although I watched a FOMO video back when the S95D released, and he said in that moment that you were not able to do the mod on the S95D, that Samsung removed that option. So I'm not sure if it has been like that since the beginning, or at some point it changed and now it's back. I don't know what's going on, but yes, I would like someone who confirmed to me that it is possible on the S95D. And if you cannot access the service menu with a remote, if you can access it using the color control app, which is what I did. Using the color control app, I access the service menu. So basically, an app on the PC, TV connected to Wi-Fi. Before connecting the TV to Wi-Fi, uncheck the automatic firmware updates. Even when I know that, some people say that the TV is going to get updated even if you don't check that box, but just in case. And I just connected the TV for a moment to access the service menu, and then I disconnected it immediately. Basically turn off the Wi-Fi of my home. So yeah, that's messed up. So yeah, let me know if you have an S95D and you can still access the service menu. Is there any explanation about the lack of BFI at 120 hertz on recent high-end TVs? Saludos desde Canarias. Actually, I used to play Canarian music. It's like a Spain music, but with different instruments, plectro instruments. I used to play on on a band that used to do that kind of folkloric music from Canadians. Very, very cool. So I don't know why. They say this because they increase the pixel aperture ratio to get more brightness, and then BFI was not possible or whatever. I don't think that's true. I think they just cheap out because there is some hardware necessary for that to work, and then we lost it. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I remember your logo. Thank you for being here, man, from the beginning. And it is Gleaming TV. He says, congratulations on 10K. I was here from the very beginning of your channel. Thank you very much. There's also dynamic mode, warm in the service menu. There's a lot of stuff on the Samsung service menu. And of course, I disable ASBL, which is very, very important too. Okay. My name is Ariel, Ariel. It's on I have it at the bottom. You can see Plasma TV for gaming, Ariel. Take care, Plasma. Congrats, 10,000 Ks. I'm actually one of your first subs. I'll show you an email. How do you spell it? Okay, read that. Quantu and Real One. IDC, what says, Ben, Samsung 8 want people to be happy with their TV, so no one buy their TV. Yeah, of course, if you can get more brightness on the S95D, why would you buy that with a matte finish? It wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, let's leave it there. Thanks for everyone who showed up. The channel is peaking right now, so we're gonna keep it up. I'm gonna make a video tomorrow, probably the BFI settings, and then we're just gonna get those 2,000 nits after I have more time to test this weekend to make sure there's no issues, and everything is perfect or perfect to me. Then I will make that video, and yeah, you give it a try if you want. And also, I want to take more time because I want to share not only the 2000 nits mod. I might try less brightness to make sure that the calibration numbers are also looking as good. So the EOTF tracking is looking good. No visibility near black. It doesn't look washed out or anything like that. So I can share with you on that video not only the 2000 nits, but how to get S95D levels of brightness, maybe. And if you want to go past that, then do it. So yeah, I want to take a little bit more time with that. My parents want a new TV but aren't gamers. They are impressed with my LG C2 though. What do you recommend? So if they are not gamers, get an LCD, man. Get an LCD for them. Get a Hisense U8N or TCL QM8 or something like that. You get a cheaper price for a bigger screen size. They're going to appreciate more the bigger screen size than the perfect blacks. Most people who are not into displays, they watch the TVs with the lights on. So an OLED is kind of a waste. And also, they are not going to babysit the TV at all, and they might watch content that has HUDs all the time, or the news, or something like that, or sports. So, and then OLED is not bright enough, so they are not going to understand that they need to turn off the lights to enjoy the TV. I think most people are going to be happier with an LCD, honestly. But yeah, C2 is great if you can get a G2 or C3. C4 might be too expensive. Really anything if they are not into it. But if they are impressed with the C2, a G2 or C4 would be the next tier. G2, C4, about the same. C4, 1000 nits, same, but it might have a higher APL. So yeah. So thanks for everyone. I'm out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. And you guys all have a good day, good weekend.